Very good morning, students. I am teacher Dr. Salunki TB from Sri Shivaji Vidya Mandir and Junior College, Avan, Pune. Students, in the previous session, we studied one of the significant topics from the writing skill, and that is mind mapping. Today, in this session, we are going to study one of the important topics from the grammar, that is modal auxiliary verb. Students, you know that there are three kinds of verbs existing in English language. The first type of verb is main verb, which is also described as action denoting word, and this type of verb plays very significant role in the construction of the sentences in English language. The second type which exists in English language is auxiliary verb, which is also known as linking verb or helping verb. This verb is called helping verb because it helps to complete the sense or the meaning of the sentence. And the third type of verb is modal auxiliary verb, which today we are going to learn in detail. So there are a number of modal auxiliary verbs existing in English language, such as can, could, may, might, should, must, used to, have to, has to, dare, need. All these modal auxiliary verbs play significant role in both written as well as spoken communication. So in this way, today we are going to study different types of modal auxiliary verbs, their characteristics and their functions in this session. So let's begin with the topic modal auxiliary verbs.
I welcome all of you in this session of English language. Students, today in this session we are going to discuss one of the significant topics from the grammar. The title of this topic is modal verbs or modal auxiliary verbs. In this session we are not going to discuss only the types of modal verbs but also their functions, different functions in the sentence. Students, let me clarify first of all what different types of modal verbs are there. Students, let us have a look on these modal verbs in English language. I read all the modal verbs: can, could, should, shall, will, would, may, might, must, have to, ought to, used to, need to, dare to, etc. Students, if you look at the list of these modals in English language, the main verbs that follow the modal verbs like can, could, should, shall, will, would, may, might, must do not take suffix yes with them if the sentence begins with the third person singular. Secondly, these modal verbs are followed by bare infinitive or the base form of the main verb. Thirdly, these all modal verbs are not followed by main verb plus ing form as we see in any continuous tense. So students, in this way I have discussed three important things with you as far these modal verbs are concerned. Let us come to the term modal verbs. What is meant by modal verbs? Modal verbs are the words which are used to express ability, advice, obligation or compulsion, futurity, determination, habitual action in the past, request, permission, possibility, necessity, courage, etc. So in this way, modal verbs are used to indicate modality. Here, modality means the way the speaker's or writer's attitude is expressed in written or spoken conversation. These modal verbs have a great variety of communicative functions. Students, let us study modal verb and its function one after another from our list. The first modal verb we are going to discuss is can. Can is used to express ability in present. If you are able to do something, this ability of doing something is expressed with the help of modal verb can. For example, Rohan can carry this bag. Students, if you look at this sentence, Rohan's ability of carrying the bag is expressed here with the help of modal verb can. Secondly, as I told you, the main verb that follows the modal verb does not take suffix s with it. The main verb that follows the modal verb has to be in bare infinitive form. Let us look at the main verb carry in this sentence. It is base form of the verb without suffix s or ed or ing. Students, if you wish to express ability in past, in that case, the modal verb could is used in the sentence. Let us have a look at this sentence. He could dance for an hour on the stage. So students, in this sentence, the modal verb could expresses the ability of his dancing in the past. Let us move to the next modal verb should. Generally, the modal verb should is used to give advice to someone. For example, let us look at the sentence, you should get up earlier in the morning. In this sentence, the modal verb should expresses advice given by the speaker to the listener. Let us see the next modal verb in the chart, shall. Students, the modal verb shall is used to express futurity, or we can say future action about something. Let us see the example that consists of the modal verb shall. Shall I explain the next topic? So in this sentence, the modal verb shall expresses futurity or future action. Let us move to the next modal verb, that is would. Students, this modal verb is used to express the habitual action in the past. Habitual action means the action which used to be regular or consistent in the past. For example, I would play piano in my childhood. In this sentence, the speaker expresses his habitual action. His habitual means regular or continuous action in the past using the modal verb would. Students, let me make clear one point here. This modal verb would can be replaced by another modal verb of habitual action that is used to. For example, I replace the modal would with the modal used to. The answer is I used to play piano in my childhood. Or if the modal verb used to occurs in the sentence, it can be replaced by the modal verb would. Let us see the next modal verb, that is will. The modal verb will is used to express determination or certainty about particular action in the future. Let us see the example. I am going to the library. I will find my friend there. In this sentence, the modal verb will expresses the certainty or determination about what the speaker says. So in this way, when we use the modal verb will in the sentence, that sentence is considered to be more definite or certain. Therefore, this modal verb will is called the modal auxiliary verb of certainty or definiteness. Students, if you want to make this sentence less definite or certain, you will have to use other modal verbs of less certainty or definiteness. Which is the modal verb of less certainty? We can use the modal verb may or might to make this sentence less definite or less certain. Students, let us move to the next modal verb, that is may. What is the function of the modal verb may? The modal verb may functions to express permission. Students, the modal verb can is also used to ask permission but it is informal use, whereas the modal verb may is rather formal. Therefore, the modal verb may is used to ask permission in formal situation. Similarly, the modal verb might is used to express possibility about particular incident or event. For example, let us look at the sentence, take an umbrella, it might rain later. In this sentence, the modal verb might expresses possibility of raining. So this is how the modal verb might is used to express the possibility. Students, let us come to the modal verb which express obligation or compulsion. The modal verbs like must, ought to, have to, has to express compulsion or obligation in the sentence. When someone compels somebody to do something, in that situation, the modal verbs like must, ought to, have to, has to are used. For example, let us look at the sentence, you must improve your grammar. In this sentence, the use of modal verb must expresses obligation or compulsion of improving grammar. These modals can be replaced with each other to express obligations. Students, be careful about the subject of the sentence while replacing these modal verbs like must, ought to, have to, has to, even though they express the same attitude of the speaker. Let us take the same example, you must improve your grammar. In this sentence, you can replace must with ought to as. In the sentence, you ought to improve your grammar or you have to improve your grammar. But you cannot use modal verb has to in this sentence as the subject of the sentence is plural. Students, in the same way, the modal verbs like need to and dare to are used to express necessity and courage respectively. Sometimes they are also called semi-modal verbs. Students, in this way, today in this session, we have discussed all the modal verbs or modal auxiliary verbs in this session. Students, you need to study all these modal verbs and their functions repetitively, and you also need to practice the replacement of modal verbs so that you can replace one modal verb of particular function with another modal verb of different function. Students, I hope you must have understood this topic in this session. I conclude this session here. I stop here. Thank you.